What is going on, y'all? I am back. Alright, as promised in the last one, Facebook did not let me switch the video over. This is the broadcast where we're going to be breaking down concepts. And as you can see on the screen, I'm using this tool made by a good friend of mine named Mikkel that is called Funnelytics. This is a blueprinting and outlining tool, as well as a tool that lets you, for the lack of a better term, do assessments on analytics for how a campaign will perform and the numbers that go across it. For today's call, I'm going to break down a couple things for you. Now, you guys should be familiar with a few of the people that you see on this screen. Frank Kern, Brian Delaney, Dan Henry. A few of these names may be reminiscent to some of you know. Proof, you've got Ty Lopez, Sam Evans, Keith Yackey, .com Secrets by Russell Brunson, Grant Cardone, Stuman, Fletcher. You've got Digital Marketer here, Expert Secrets, Mentor Box. For the purpose of today's video, what we are going to focus on is first, the mechanics and breakdown of the tools that you need, and second, one of these, and then third, ours, the one that you guys are experiencing right now. We're a big fan of full transparency here, both at Funnel Driven and here in Virtually Limitless, so we want to make sure that you guys have all of the info knowledge that you can thrive, not just survive. Now, the best way to go about this is I want to start at just showing you kind of what these tools and aspects are. So you're going to want to take advantage of, if you want to do your own blueprinting, Funnelytics is a fantastic tool. If you need the hookup, let me know. I can get Mikkel to reach out to you and help you get set up. You're also going to want to take advantage of rev.com for transcription, for any video, audio that you want to transcribe into, say, a blog or a post. You're also going to want to take advantage of the well-known ClickFunnels or Spark Builder or really any funnel building tool, for the lack of a better term. For the sake of today, who do you guys want to see? Do you guys have a preference? Or do you want me to go with just somebody that we all know the name to, right? I kind of want to cover two. If you guys have a preference, feel free to drop it in the comments. If not, we're going to start at Traffic and Funnels, because this one is a prime example of how simplicity sells. A lot of people think that you need this super complex ecosystem, and while complexity does help, it's not a requirement for you to be successful. So without further ado, let's jump in at a 30,000-foot view of how Traffic and Funnels ecosystem operates and how this works for helping drive traffic and conversions in relation to bringing new clients on board. So first and foremost, I want to give an outline of the structure of how they operate. So you see this entire screen. This is a blueprint. We're starting from left to right. We're starting from your source. In this case, Traffic and Funnels primarily runs ads on Facebook and an associated platform. And then through the right, the confirmation is after they've purchased a product and they've now retained that client. Okay? For the sake of simplicity, I'm not going to go too far into the intricacies here. Once again, it's important to note that all of the material you see here, the funnel, the images, the copy, etc., is all property of Traffic and Funnels. Traffic and Funnels has not endorsed this. This is for educational purposes only, and this is to highlight how a well-functioning, well-oiled machine works, to give you an insight at how simplicity works, how a proper ecosystem works, and how it can bring you not only more leads, but more clients. So, if we know that the source, Facebook ads in this case, ultimately ends in a confirmation of an order or a purchase or a new client sign up, what are the steps in between? Well, Traffic and Funnels runs on the basis of simplicity sells, and this is proof and evident by the funnel hack that you see in front of you. Now, they have a long-form sales page. Now, what does a long-form sales page mean? Well, what a long-form sales page means is that this particular page isn't just a bridge page. It's not just like a landing page that says, this is how you get X. It's actually a fully functional, fully built, NLP engaged, long form, so there's a lot of scrolling that you can do, a ton of value, ton of information, to sell their service. And then it's pretty straightforward. After they've come from the ad, the source, the customer journey takes them to a sales page. Sales page takes them to an order form takes them to an order step, then an upsell, and then confirmation for their entirety of an order. Now, in the traffic and funnel, there's a couple things that I want to cover here. Most importantly, how their system works. Okay? In regards to how it works, we need to look at a few key elements. I'm going to pull those up on screen here shortly, but those key elements really fall into, we need to know how their ads place, how their sales page places, what their order steps look like, and what the upsell, downsell, and confirmation looks like. So while I pull those up, I want you to think, have you seen any of their ads? Have you interacted with any ads? And have they retargeted you? Now there's a reason that I want you to kind of have this self-reflection period, for the lack of a better term. What this does is it allows you to put yourself into the customer's point of view. Whether or not you're an ideal client for them is irrelevant at this stage. What we're talking about in this stage is we're talking about how this particular ecosystem has generated traffic and funnels millions of dollars, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. And why it is so successful, even though visually it looks so simple. Now, once again, I need to remind you, the images I'm about to show you are the intellectual property of traffic and funnels and nobody else's. So you cannot replicate, repeat, or leverage these without permission from them. This is for educational purposes only. In one moment, I'll have these resources up in front of us so that we can go through them. So, this particular image, we're going to start here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here. Okay? So, you can see, this is their first ad. It's a screen share. It really hits the targeting of their ideal client. They know who they're going after. So if you remember from our last conversation, or if you've seen any of the other material we've put in, there's really one focal point that we want to focus on in regards to how funnels are the most beneficial, most behooving, and generate the highest ROI or return on ad spend. And that's starting your source knowing who your ideal client is. So here, an invisible step is always knowing who your ideal client is, having that ideal client avatar. In this case, they do a very good job of pointing their copy to that. Now you'll notice one thing here. It's story-driven. If you remember from some of the prior lessons we've gone over how story derives emotion, how emotion sells a product, how logic justifies that emotional purchase, and how continuity is important. Knowing your ideal client and then focusing on that, leveraging a story, allows you to be able to position yourself not only as an authority, but it also allows you to be able to point and help that ideal client solve their pain more effectively. So their ad talks about taking off from 2 years ago. It talks about 20% year after year. It talks about growth. It talks about noticing. It's talking about their story. This then leads them, if we do an omnidirectional, or not omnidirectional because we've got to look at the second Facebook ad, but a monodirectional playthrough, this then leads them to actually going to the landing page. Now, as promised, this is their landing page. As you can see, it is very, very, very long. This particular funnel, this sales page, which is what you see as item 2, reconfirms everything from item 1, the ad source. I'll show you the second ad here in a moment. And then follows the trajectory of storytelling, utilizing NLP, and utilizing information and solving pain points that they align with their ideal client. They're only selling to one client. They're not selling to everybody. They're selling to their ideal client. This allows them to tell their story, position themselves as an authority, as many of you have already seen, and then show that how these lessons, how this information, how this time frame, how all of their expertise over 2015 to 2017 in this example makes them the right candidate to solve people's problems that are looking for help. And you can see throughout this, it's reconfirmation with call to action. It's reconfirmation with call to action. Reconfirmation with call to action. Testimonial videos. Call to action. Then it goes to their call out for their ideal client. They're stating that if you do not follow these, you're not their ideal client. Once again, they've already positioned the ad to their ideal client. Now it's about reconfirming that with calls to action. Now with this, they also reconfirm who you are to make sure that you're a right candidate before going in and purchasing anything. You can see that it then gives authority of who these participants are, and then it goes into disclaimers. Now, why is all that important? Well, a linear pathway, a monodirectional pathway, when you're talking about ad to sales page to order step to order step, upsell, confirmation, needs to follow and reconfirm the information and the emotion that's driving that purchase. So I'll go ahead and show you ad 2. Once again, very good job of creating emotion in here. This one's a long format, it's not short form. And this shows the rest of how this ad plays. Now they run this in different areas, but it's short form and long form. But you see how it's getting the same type of information. You see it's confirming the reasons. You see it's giving insight in a methodical, story-driven way to engage and highlight the emotion of solving this pain for their ideal client and how to get a hold of them. The video reconfirms this and shows information as well as testimonials and authority, but it's singular direction, singular objective, and it all follows the same trajectory. What you see in the ad, you see on the sales page. What you see on the sales page takes you to the checkout page. What you see on the checkout page reconfirms what you're buying, gives that authoritative position, and has the purchase step. Then you go to your checkout page 2. This is once again reconfirmation, credit information. Then they get to the upsell. This is where you increase cart value. Think of this as like the Billy Mays of a proper ecosystem. This position is, since we're already shipping you something, let us get you this. It's an upsell. You can add this by adding in an additional item to your order. Then the confirmation gives that satisfaction, that dopamine release of what you've just signed up for. You have now purchased these. And then a thank you, important next steps, call to action, continue. Now you'll notice that this is pretty singular direction. This does not remove, it doesn't get rid of any of the follow-up, nurturing, retargeting. That is all after this occurs. So when we're talking about the breakdown of a performing system, Traffic and Funnels has a performing system. We're talking about cold to client, and then we're also talking about how this system is utilized for retargeting. To give you kind of an insight on how you can retarget, we're going to step back from Traffic and Funnels, and I'm going to show you, I'll go ahead and I'll show you Stewman's system. Inside Stewman's system, we're going to cover a couple things. Most importantly, what we're going to cover is we're going to cover how the same audience can be used for several different people. Okay? What that's going to let us do is that's going to let us go in and see how retargeting works without actually having to build out the retargeting campaign. So you'll see here, Stuman's another big name in the industry. He's got a very operational funnel, just like Traffic and Funnels. But you can see this is several different funnels, right? You've got Social Media Millions to Break Free Academy. You've got Elevator to the Top to Funnel Closer. You've got Closer Cards to Funnel Closer. So the reason I want to show you this particular campaign, whether or not you're familiar with who Stuman is because it's a well-built, well-oiled machine that retargets its audience based on its propensity. Same kind of thing that you're going to see with us. Now, in this particular breakdown, once again, none of these images, none of the copy, none of the screenshots belong to us or you. They are the intellectual property of Break Free Academy and Ryan Stuman. This is for educational purposes only, and this is to highlight a well-functioning, well-oiled machine so you can understand the concepts, level up your knowledge, and then you can build out your own ecosystem or have somebody do one for you because you know the working mechanics. When we're talking about how this particular one can help you level up on your capabilities, this particular one's a good example of not only how omnipresent content can help as a source. You can see multiple ads, different traffic sources. These all start somewhere along the lines of content, but it also shows how the same audience can be applicable to multiple different offers, not necessarily just one. Now, this particular breakdown does a really good job of showing a few things. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go into each one of these pieces of copy, each one of these sales pages. We did that on Traffic and Funnels, and you got a good idea of how those work. I'm going to give a 30,000 view highlight on how these function. So you're going from source through that sales system, retargeting, application, to registration, to broadcast, to registration, to application. You're going through source, through the system, to multiple different concurrences. You've got a product to download for an order confirmation, as well as a webinar confirmation, which sends them to another program in another order form. Same here. So you can see through this retargeting capability that he's particularly proficient at in this build is taking the audience that's engaging with Social Media Millions and qualifying them for Break Free. That same audience can then also be used in reference to his closer cards, his closer program, his elevator program, etc. You can see that the audience from Elevator to the Top can go to the closer program. You can see that closer cards can go to the closer program, even though they may not all start at the same source. You see these 6 start the social media one. This one starts the elevator one. This one starts the BF one. This one starts the closer one. Then these source to here, etc. So you don't have to necessarily retarget just one audience to one offer. You can leverage several different offers, as you can see from this 30,000 foot view of how the source traffic can be different, and you can position to like goals or even retarget traffic from one to go to another for that well-oiled machine look that so many of us have experienced without even really experiencing. If any of you know this gentleman, if any of you know him by name, there's a reason, because this is the systematic approach that you have been going through. Now, to give you a little bit more insight, something that we can talk a little bit more freely about, I'm going to run you through the breakdown of the actual launch system that you guys are participating in. This is the entirety of the Limitless ecosphere. This is the entirety of the Virtually Limitless community. This is the entirety of every step and process along the way for you guys to get the most value, for us to make the biggest impact in your lives, for you guys to be able to position and reconfirm your authority, build businesses, thrive, not just survive, and yes, for us to be able to offer solutions to solve your guys' pain points along the way if you want to partake in them. At the top, you see kind of a run through. This is from podcast and PR, to a scroll action, to a click button, to a watch video, to request info, to a lead, to a completed form, to a scheduled meeting, to tag contents, to contact, to purchase. That's kind of the evolution. You're going to see a very omnipresent designed flow here. It all starts with all members of Virtually Limitless, whether you purchase the book or you're in the community. You are positioning yourself as our ideal client. That means that we can then show you material through our source, through guest blog posts, through banner ads, through podcasts, through PR, and run that through really 4 to 5 different methodology approaches that help us systemize how we can help you, where we can help you, what content's going to work best for you, etc. So you can see that the source will lead to online and call to actions, meaning that you join the community, you see offers from us, you hop on live calls, etc. This then does 2 actions. This then marks you as somebody in our community, as well as it gives an opt-in to this ecosystem. Now that opt-in then runs you through, based on your identity, based on your propensity, based on your desire, based on what you need help with, if you need help, how you're engaging, etc., into one of these 5 different breakpoints. You're either going to watch some videos, join a webinar, run through and register for something where you'll see a call to action and a thank you page. That will then run you through follow-up systems, text systems, email systems, where we provide more and more value to you. We give you more and more resources. We do more lives. We engage more. We help change your life, help you thrive, not just survive. And then if you want to become a client, you can come on board as a new client onboarding, and then we start the workshop. You could also come through, see a sales video from an advertisement from retargeting, where we sell you a product or service or solution that has an upsell and order page, thank you page, and then once again, same thing. You've got phone, text, email, social, onboarding for meetings, clients, and then workshopping. Additionally, you may go through an ask survey. You might remember this one from our last Funnel Friday, where we go through an ask campaign. And this helps us really cultivate content that you guys care more about. This helps us run through information you care more about. This helps us position things that you care more about to help you get a bigger value. But it also allows us, as you can see, to cross-market you to sales, to promotions, to items, or to just offers of value that will benefit you the most and solve your pain. This then, once again, same type of follow-up system. You're talking about phone, text, email, social, and onboarding. Now, in the event that you decide not to partake in anything, which is your right, then it goes in and there's always some kind of promotional offer, one-time offer, self-liquidating offer, or scarcity that will then run. Now, it's important to note that this is all ethical, based on integrity and morals. We're not putting fake anything anywhere. Promotions do come and go, and if one of these comes up, you'll be aware of it. Then it goes to a thank you page, delivery of value, and then the same kind of follow-up, nurture, and client growth system. Now in here, this is the continuity piece. Remember the 5 C's of scale? You need to be able to capture somebody's attention, convert their attention, have them consume content, close on the content, and then add continuity for ongoing solutions, support, delivery, and really to help people thrive, not just survive. Now this goes through and allows you to consume content, and it tags you based on your preferential use. So 5% view is a different tag than 100% view. This video, this video, this video, as you can see, this is running through what's commonly known as intent-based branding. Now video content is something that all 3 of the blueprints you've seen today have in common. We use video heavy here to help identify our ideal clients, help provide value to our ideal clients, help you thrive, not just survive. Stuman uses video to attract his ideal buyers, both in groups and paid ads, and Traffic and Funnels, as you remember, also uses videos in their ads and content to attract their ideal clients and help solve pain points. That's why there's an entire section dedicated to video and consumption here. You can see that each step along the way, you move closer and closer to purchasing some kind of item, solution, or product or service. And then you've got your continuity piece. If you add it, you get another video. It takes you into this the workshop, seminar, and onboarding, or you can continue to view content. Now, one thing that I want you to remember is while this blueprint shows a very linear graph, cold traffic to client, this all also is evergreen. It retargets based on propensity and percentage. So if John Smith starts here and makes it here and doesn't make it here, he's going to be put back into this type of sequence and this type of sequence to have this end goal in mind, to solve their pain, to help John thrive, not just survive, in a very evergreen cyclical pattern that is based on, surprise, surprise, helping people help other people. Now, you guys have probably heard me talk about consistency conquering complacency. It's one of our biggest things here at Virtually Limitless, and one of the biggest things here at one of my companies, Funnel Driven. This is the overture of all those working systems in place. As a reminder, the working systems that are used in this are Repurpose.io, Sendable or OneUpApp.io. You've got a podcast, you've got a blog, you've got social media, you've got click-throughs such as PPC ads, you've got video ads, you've got retargeting, remarketing, and yes, there are landing page sequences in here. To confirm, this entire thing is an ecosystem. Now, we went through a very simple overture of it, a very 30,000 foot view. We didn't get too technical on any of these. Those will be for another video. But I want you to remember that a proper ecosystem and a proper sales funnel are one and the same thing. You can see landing pages are an important part of this, but you'll notice that landing pages are not the entirety of this. I want you to remember that, and I want you to make sure that you remember starting next week, Funnel Friday will be back at its original time. I apologize for being gone. I came down with COVID-19, and if I sound a little funny to you guys, it's because I've got residual bronchitis from it. But keep in touch. Let me know if you need anything. Feel free to drop down in the comments if you watched this live or if you're watching the replay. And if you want me to cover anybody in particular on our next Funnel Friday for a 30,000 foot breakdown, let me know in the comments and tag me or let Trey know so we can get down and dirty and do a deep dive into the most profitable, the most prominent, and the really kind of the idealism behind why proper ecosystems work, why omnipresence works, why you should be setting up for it so that you can model after some of the most successful people in the game. Thank you. My name is Bryce. It has been a pleasure here. If you want to learn more about me, feel free to tag me, comment, or just get to know me here in group. See y'all next time.